Hello, I'm an internet reviewer slash commentator who's talking about Star Wars. I like Star Wars. If there is an entry I don't particularly like, I move on from it and do not make it my entire online persona for the rest of my life. Also, if there's an entry I do like, I also don't make it a new yardstick to judge all previous and future entries with. Anyway, we got another Star Wars Vision anthology. With Volume 3, we see the animated Star Wars anthology return to its anime theme this year, which I do admit I do kind of wish we had more of the international animation studios like we got in Volume 2, but Volume 3 has a solid and interesting set of stories to tell, starting with The Duel, Payback from Kamikaze Dolga and Anima. This story is a sequel to one from Volume 1, one of the three in this collection. Set in a reimagined version of the Star Wars universe, we see our Sith Ronin having to deal with a Jedi Crusader who he maimed previously. This short has a lot of fun playing around in the Kurosawa-inspired sandbox with a mishmash of aesthetics from different trilogies. It has a lot of fun characters and some interesting ideas with regards to the Jedi, where they come off as religious fanatics, with the Crusader calling out our Ronin as a sinner. Put a pin in that because there's a theme here. The animation is great here, as it was in the original story with some great action scenes. The Song of the Four Wings from Project Studio Q. This is the first CGI animated story of the volume. This was a fun story about a princess in the Rebel Alliance, not that one, who helps rescue a cute alien baby and stop an Imperial mine operation. This was a fun short. The cel-shaded animation looks appealing and there's a fun, over-the-top cartoony feel to it. From the designs to the action beats to a Star Wars-esque magical girl transformation sequence, this was a fun one. The Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. The second sequel, this one follows up from Studio IG's Ninth Jedi short. Before this volume was released, it was announced that the Ninth Jedi short is getting its own spin-off series, and with that in mind, this short feels like a teaser for the series, but I don't mind that because it's pretty good. It's a bit of a refresher course to remind you of who the characters are and what their respective deals are. This one deals with Lakara, a Jedi in train helping a droid in a derelict starship. It's a good story, gives out more details of the setting, and has a fun droid character called Tito, who is a cool CGI design that meshes well with the 2D elements. The Bounty Hunters. This one from Wit Studio feels like a backdoor pilot to another show, which I totally would watch. This one details the adventures of Sven, a fugitive assassin turned bounty hunter, and her droid assistant IV-A4, doing a job for a rich guy who, surprise surprise, turns out to be not on the up and up. As I mentioned before, this one felt like a backdoor pilot, especially as some elements like Sven's quest to find and kill the Jedi who saved her, and there's some characters mentioned who feel like they might possibly be important down the line. Not that I wouldn't mind. In fact, I would love to see more of the characters in this. I also like the character of Sven and her view on the Jedi. As well, she did save her from slavery as a child. She ended up with a target on her back by the organisation and now wants to kill her saviour, which stood out to me as an interesting aspect, as we don't see a lot of characters, especially those on the good, potentially have a not particular kind view of the Jedi. There's some good action scenes, especially one with droid mech, which was something I didn't know I needed. Overall, the short itself was good, and I definitely sign up for more if they do continue the story. Yukel's Treasure. Oh, this was a sweet one. This story from Cinema Citrus is a nice reader. It's about an orphan and his caretaker, who's a robot teddy bear, sure, why not, who live on Tatooine. But their idyllic life on the Dust Bowl is put under threat when a gang of pirates come to steal something from them. It's a cute little adventure with a lot of heart and comedy. It feels a bit like Skeleton Crew. If you like that show, you'd definitely like this one. Lost One, another one from Cinema Citrus and another sequel. This one's my personal favourite of Volume 1 short, The Village Bride. This details the manic Jedi F having to save a group of refugees from the Empire, but also having to deal with her former master who now works for the Empire. This is a great follow-up. We get a lot more about F. For instance, we learn she's got a robotic leg, and we get some interesting side characters. The animation, like its prequel, is also good. It also has a good colour palette with bright and stark colours being put to good use. The Smuggler. From Studio Trigger comes The Smuggler. This one is a fun little escapade dealing with a smuggler trying to help a fugitive prince escape the Empire's crackdown on his world. There's a lot of excitement to be had with a great chase scene, some interesting characters, and some good world building. It's also here I noticed one of the big themes of this volume, survival. Each story in this volume have a lot of characters who've survived some horrible experiences, like Rupas, a cute baby whose village was massacred, the numerous Jedi who survived all the 66, the Sith being hunted by the Grand Master's crusade, and a prince in this story who lost his royal family. It's a theme that's always been in Star Wars, and we get to see all the survivors in this story try and move on in some way or another, be it the Ronin trying to make amends, F trying to keep Jedi traditions going, and the prince in this story trying to help free his world from the Empire along with another Order 66 survivor who pledges her alliance to him, reinforcing this theme. The Bird of Paradise from Polygon Pictures. The second CGI short of the volume comes The Bird of Paradise. In this short, it details a young Jedi Padawan called Nakimi having to deal with losing her sight after a battle with a Sith. The animation in this one is great and gets creative in how it depicts the Padawans in a turmoil and accompanying Force visions, and its overall message of acceptance is appreciated. It's also here where two of the volume's themes crop up, the depiction of Jedi and disability. Throughout the volume, we see the Jedi in an interesting light. For some, like in Payback and Bounty Hunters, they're not seen in a good light, with the Grand Master and the Duel, as mentioned before, being portrayed as a crusading knight who vanquishes enemies regardless who gets in his way, and Sven in her short seeks vengeance against the Jedi who rescued her, but left her to fend for herself. In this short, we see Nakimi having to come to terms with not just her disability, but also her arrogance that led her to this situation. It feels in line with The Last Jedi or The Acolyte, installments that tackled the less admirable aspects of the Jedi Order that we've seen in this film, but this short kind of does it in a more lighter approach. Another theme I noticed was disability. While Star Wars has always had characters who have a disability, it's probably the oldest film franchise with a main character who is an amputee if you think about it. Throughout the volume, we see characters who lost limbs, and he lost her arm in the Payback, and the Grand Master has various injuries requiring a Darth Vader-like procedure to keep him alive. Lino and F have cybernetic prosthetics. It ties itself into this volume's general theme of survival and how to overcome it, which is Akini's arc in this short, how to accept what was lost. Black. Okay, so this one is both the best short of this volume, but also a bit hard to review. From David Productions and veteran animator Shinya Ohira, a man who's worked on a lot of anime productions, like name anyone you're thinking of, he's probably worked on them in some capacity. Anyway, this short details the experience of a stormtrooper who's losing a battle. That's what I can gather from it, as this one goes in an experimental direction, detailing a psychedelic vision, get it, of a typical Star Wars space battle with great music by Fujiwara Sakura. Its animation is fluid and sketchy, reminiscent of Ohira's previous works like the animated sequence in Kill Bill Volume 1. It just doesn't let up. Everything's changing constantly, with Star Wars iconography constantly being swapped out. But it doesn't feel too hollow, as there's some details to grab onto. In short, it's Star Wars as you've never seen it before. Star Wars Vision's third volume still continues one of the most creative and fun entries in the Star Wars saga, with a bunch of stories that run the gamut from funny to action-packed to just plain weird. It's a great part of the saga that I always like coming back to. Like what you see here? Then please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get more Watch This Space, but also other things such as my short films. Please remember to like and subscribe to the videos you just watched. And also, please check out The Orange Bin, my blog, where I have write-ups of my episodes here, which with links to sources that I mention on the show. Also contains some of my old blog posts if you want to see what else I used to do back in the olden days. So please remember to check out my blog and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.